Am I live? Am I live? YouTube? Hello, YouTube. Am I live? Because a minute ago you were telling me I couldn't even sign on. So there. Meh. So, and I just realized I've got the door open here. I'm going to shut my door and I'm going to wait for people to show up. I see a thumbs up. I see a thumbs up, people. Yo, there we go. Let's hope it's going well. All right. So I'll just wait. There we go. Mary Coker. Mary, since you're the first person in the comments, could you do me a favor? Okay. There we go. The screen opened just as I stuck my tongue out. Perfect. Sounds about right. Love it. Can you guys see and hear me? If somebody can just put it in the comments, because sometimes I can see your stuff. And okay, wonderful. That one persona. I appreciate that. Okay. So perfect, everybody. And what a bunch of familiar names and faces, and maybe some new ones too. Yay. Good stuff. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties as I was tuning in. It was like literally not giving me the go live button. But you know what? Let's not accentuate the negative. Why dwell? Why dwell? It's terrific Tuesday, says Kim Christensen with her pink flowers. And somebody had asked um, what kind of crepe myrtle I picked out. The name of the color or the name of the variety is called Tonto, which makes me think of Tonto, jump on it, jump on it. Do, 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 do. Remember that song? Was it good? Apache, jump on it. I love it. Speaking of flowers, Laura Voorhees got her flowers planted. Rock on. Very cool. What have I done since I last saw you guys? I did yoga. I did. Hey, this is great. You guys, this is really fun. So, enough about me. Let's just jump right into the comments. Heather MC. Yo, Heather MC. Wooka, wooka, wooka. Heather MC attended, participated in, and benefited from the decluttering party yesterday morning. And it was great because she had destination, boom, boom, path to the old fridge to get it out, and then path so the new fridge could come in. And voila, Heather MC reports, I finished cleaning the kitchen and my fridge got delivered this morning. Woo! So rock on with your fridge. I love it. Yay, that must feel awesome. And here's a really cool thing. Heather MC, I don't think you'll mind sharing the story that happened about just kind of having clutter blindness, clutter fuzziness, where you don't even see things. And then suddenly it's been there all along. You didn't even realize you had this. So sometimes I was thinking about this when we do the declutter parties. I'm just going to jump right in here and we chunk down the decluttering. A lot of what we do is the first chunk that we do, they're always 20-minute chunks. And the first chunk is often for all of us, the one where we kind of shift gears. We go from, kind of not seeing the stuff around our house to really kind of cleaning our glasses off to look and see kind of what we want to work on, what we want to focus on. And we can see more clearly what we want to focus on. And also, because we have slowed down, much like being on a road trip or maybe an episode of the Flintstones, where the back uh, background keeps on going fast. If you're driving too fast, you cannot see what's around you. You cannot absorb the details. So yesterday, Heather was moving some curated what do you call them, appliances, like mini appliances, from the top of her fridge because they were getting a new fridge. Now, she didn't necessarily want to put these appliances back on the top of the fridge, but according to a portion of her brain, she had kind of no place else to put them. Lo and behold, not just lo and behold, as she was decluttering, she just didn't keep her eyes looking on this level. She looked up, and lo and behold, voila, there was an entire empty shelf in her pantry above her normal, where she's normally looking. She looked where she hadn't looked before, and she found space to put these things that she previously didn't think she had space for. Now, I share this with you because in life coaching, and sometimes this manifesting, totally judgy, I just caught myself being judgy in the concept of manifesting. People say, like, it's these things already exist and you just haven't noticed them yet. And this was an interesting thing to realize that, yeah, she legit did not see this thing that was just hanging out up there, big old empty shelf, right? So I offer to you, when you slow down, when you slow down and you clean off your glasses, rub your eyes, and you see things with clarity, you're going to discover things you may not have seen before. Another way to get this clarity, which I love, Joanne Parkhurst just put in the comments too, is it helps me to take a picture of my space. And because of that picture, it jumps out at me how cluttered it really is. So I share that with you too. That taking of a picture, that taking of a picture is something that I recommend. I always, I'll be honest, I don't do it all the time myself. It's not a good habit for me. So I sometimes forget to put that in your toolkit. But taking a picture gives you kind of a distance. From a distance, it gives you distance. You're not surrounded by it in real time. You have some perspective on it, and you can look at it from a different angle. This may be why, and I think we were talking about this yesterday on a TikTok live or a YouTube live. And just in case anybody here is new to what I'm doing right now, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered, much like the name of this um, YouTube channel. But I offer this to you because taking a picture may help you see things that previously you were kind of blind to. Yesterday we were talking about, when people do lives, sometimes uh you see things that they may not have even noticed. They are so not oblivious. Again, that's kind of judgy. They have become visually blind to what's around them as a self-preservation matter. So, what I offer to you is the concept of slowing down, chunking down, quieting down, and maybe instead of just keeping your eyes on this level, look down. Is there any space down there? Look up. Oh, maybe there's space up there. Look in unexpected places, and you might find the unexpected. Okay. So yay. Yeah, like your nose gets blind to smells. Mhm. You become oblivious to things. And this is, the human body does this. The body and the brain do this for certain reasons. If you looked at everything, if your brain was being sent the amount of information that would be sent to it from every item that is within your visual sphere, you would become a bit overwhelmed. So it does that to preserve your sanity. But sometimes that blindness works to your disadvantage. So slowing down, looking up, and looking for what you want. I want another space for my appliances. So I just offer that to you because now I have the MC, and she says, "Oh, I can be like real people and not put these on the top of the fridge. It must feel awesome to have that new fridge." So yay. So taking a picture, like if you notice right here in this frame right here, this is a picture. Now, if I was being all nitpicky and trying to be more perfect, I would turn this right here and notice how I'm suddenly cropping out something that you can't see, which is this corner of, crap over here because of our basement. The guy's coming on Thursday, just as an FYI. But I keep it in there because I'm a real person and this is what I do. I'm a declutter person, but I also have clutter in my house. Now it's temporary and I'm not stressed out about it. I know how to deal with it when I deal with it, and there's going to be a proper order in which we do things. But I just share with you, how about this? If you were on a screen right now, look at what your backdrop would be. Would it look good if I brought you on camera, is there anything you would change? Okay. Erin Collins was also on the declutter party. And Erin, hey, this is really cool. Heather got her new fridge delivered today. Isn't that awesome? So, mm, all right. So, and she's feeling good about it. So, Lady Bandit, hard day in our household. My husband got laid off yesterday. He has never lost a job. All right. So that sucks. It totally does. But guess what? Now he's lost a job. It's not the end of the world. I'm saying, trust me, I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm not minimizing it, but he now has, and you're going to survive. You're going to survive. You're going to be okay. Okay, but let's start with sending some good vibes. Let's send some love. Deep breaths, calming down the nervous system. Can you imagine? So we talk about this in declutter coaching. So Lady Bandit, I assume that's what it is. Lady Bandit 78. Okay. Um, what we learned in coaching, calming down the nervous system, quieting down primarily the backseat drivers, the fear-based thoughts. The fear-based thoughts are probably working overtime in your husband's head and in your head. So maybe you could offer to him if he's amenable to it. The idea of getting a piece of paper, folding it in half, folding the piece of paper in half to two columns, and literally just articulate to yourself what he's afraid of. Oh my God, do they not like me? Will I be able to get another job? I've never lost a job before. What does this mean? What is this going to look like when I go get another job? Am I going to be able to pay the same? All the fears. Seriously, I wish I had articulated the things I was afraid of in my life a hell of a lot sooner. Literally, just get them out of you so you can take a look at them. Yeah, it's going to be a gut punch. But I offer to you, as some of the coping mechanisms and the strategies we use with decluttering can help in these situations. The fears, getting them out of you so you can look at them gives you, again, that perspective, that distance between you and looking at a picture, between you and looking at a list of things. And know that there is another side to this. This is another side to this. No, I'm not going to claim, because I am not one of those yippee skippy people. I'm not going to claim that, there's always a silver lining. What I will offer, though, is some of the things that at the time for me personally and professionally that seemed like a bad thing was happening ended up inadvertently, without me knowing, putting me on a better path. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And my heart goes out to you guys. If there's anything I can do, let me know. Seriously, I'll do it. And we're all sending both of y'all good vibes, you know? So hanging in there, my friend, hanging in there. If we let the scary thoughts, the fearful thoughts, I don't have enough time. Oh my God, what's going to happen? What if we run out of money? Then we have no food. Then we starve to death. Then we die. Okay. That is real. I wouldn't deny it. People are going to not like me, and then I'm not going to have any friends, and I'm going to be lonely and die. Yeah. And what your husband will hopefully discover is that he will survive this. Now, I don't know if he's a Gloria Gaynor fan, but maybe you could put on the disco ball in the living room and you could play I Will Survive. Let him know that we are all, sending good vibes to you guys. That is, as Erin said, a gut punch, a punch to the gut. It takes your breath away. But you know what? Then you breathe and you breathe in again. So we'll be here for you. If you need anything, you just let us know. Okay? Yeah. And Mary Coker is bringing up a good song. I get knocked down, I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. Pissing the night away? Yeah. The whiskey drink and the vodka drink. Singing the songs speaking of singing the songs that remind you of the good times and the song that reminds you of the bad times. We were just talking about going to Ireland. But yeah. So notice things are going to happen. There you go. You could make a playlist of songs that make you feel better. What are some songs that can get you? And you know what? Here's a good thing too. I say a playlist. In a playlist, you make me feel like dancing. Not the sad sack songs of, working in the steel mill or whatever, but the ones that are going to get that bad feeling dissipating. If you can move your body, it helps your body disperse the unhelpful energy. Dancing is an act of rebellion against the fear. Dancing, having some joy, trusting that this can be that. Oh, there we go. Mary Coker is offering. I've been laid off a lot. It's my go-to. And then Bon Jovi, It's My Life. Yeah. So what songs do you think would help your husband and you? Because you're part of this too. If you were relying on his income, which I'm sure you were, because I mean, so think of some songs that you guys could put on in the background. And seriously, Like I say, shake your body down to the ground because I think of a Michael Jackson, but it's also another one of those downs. You feel better after you move your muscles, after you get some air in you, air in your tires, air in your lungs. Okay, Erin Gobralis. Okay, Erin, this was not meant for you. I was just joking. So notice life's going to happen, and the neat thing is that what you learn here with Destination Decluttered and Declutter coaching isn't just in the silo of this is how you deal with clutter and then anything less, you know? I love it. Lady Bandit, and my gosh, I love it when people write stuff down. She says, I'm making a list. I'm making a list. Yeah. How about take this job and shove it? I ain't working here no more. Right? Take this job and shove it. Johnny Paycheck as opposed to Johnny Cash. How about that? How about there's many of those songs, There we go. Mary Coker's got a bunch of them. So, do you have an inspirational playlist on your device and in your that you can easily access to help you buck up when you feel not so when you're feeling down? I do. I do. I haven't listened to it in a while because I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling 7 Up. Where is it? I can't remember. I'll give you some of mine. I will totally just notice these things. Nope, I don't want to do that. Library, playlists. Okay, this is my 2019. This is how long ago I started this one. Mr. Blue Sky by ELO is on there. Bunch of ELO stuff. Um, Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. Don't Look Back by Boston. A Lot of Living to Do by the Bye Bye Birdie soundtrack. Great Things by this band Echo Belly. Now that's niche, okay? Bunch of Hold On Tight, Mr. Blue Sky, I'm Alive, All Over the World. I'm of an era where I had the Xanadu soundtrack, and there's some peppy songs there. There we go. Laura Voorhees is offering Stronger from the Broadway show Finding Neverland. So there are songs. Some people talk about Broadway. Broadway. Some people from Gypsy. Some people can pay content, eating popcorn and paying rent. That's okay for some people. I sing it like with a funny accent. It just cracks me up. I won't back down. That's a good one. Yay. So there is something you can do with this time. And you know what? Sometimes I feel like while we're going through this, if we get some perspective from the future, even right now, what's going on in the world and in the country, porting yourself out 20 years from now, when you look back at this time in your life, what stories do you want to tell about yourself? How did you handle this? How did we handle this? You know? Yeah. And Erin knows because she's a high achiever. She's a coffee achiever. So Erin is offering, if he's a high achiever and this is his first time losing a job, his nervous system is probably on overdrive. Yeah. Get outside for air, breathe down, make him walk, drink water, eat healthy, and breathe. Yeah. Oh, Judy Dukes is having some fears about flying next week with the signals going down at a couple airports and security being so mean. I will share with you. I flew once last week and this week on Sunday. I will fly next week too. I have seen those things. Judy Dukes, notice this about yourself because I'm noticing about you. So I will share this with you. Talk about perspective that sometimes you forget that your nervous system becomes easily overwhelmed with stories that you see on social media. Now, remember, stories on social media are meant to elicit an emotional response. Okay. So I will offer to you. I have flown in the past 7 days, twice, 4 times technically, because we had a layover. It was nothing like I've seen on TikTok. Okay. It was fine. It was regular. But regular boring stuff doesn't make the news. Can you imagine me being like, yeah, I had a flight. It was on time. I got my seat. Nobody asked me for it's the drama. It's where it goes wrong that gets people making stories. So I offer to you Judy Dukes again, the same thing. Write down what you're afraid of. I mean, basically, the thing we're all afraid of is death. Not to get really deep really quickly. I'm afraid that something's going to go wrong and I'm going to get hurt or I'm going to die on a plane. Now, Despite all that's going on, very few planes crash. More people probably get hit by cars. I know there's things like that. Okay. Yeah. No, Judy Dukes. I'm going freaking international next week. I am not going to let the scared people stop me from living my life. And I don't want any of you to, too. If anything, learning what we teach here is to regulate your nervous system. Outside, he's working on our fence today. He can do something. Maybe this is a perfect opportunity for him to do stuff that he hadn't had time to do because of work, you know? So I love that. And Judy D says some security are very nice. Yeah. Don't let the scary stories stop you from living your life. Okay? It may be like that for some people, who knows? When I come home next week, well, leaving next week, I will be flying internationally, so I will have to go through customs and stuff. I'll let you know how it is. But again, remember, boring people, and I mean this in the best of ways, happy couples do not make the cover of the National Enquirer. When things go wrong, that's when we get attached. Okay? So, yep. Oh, that's a good one. Mary is offering, remember, there are delays and cancellations because they are reducing the workload to where they can safely handle it. Okay? Where they can safely handle it. Now, I love that. But notice the stories, if you keep the stories in your head, they're just going to go over and over and over again, and this and this and this and this. Stopping that, writing down, getting it out of you, and then write the opposite. Yeah, fear sells and joy doesn't. Yeah, nobody wants to hear about happily married couples. Oh, they're happy, great. You know what I want to hear about is how so and so cheated on somebody and then now blah, 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 blah. Drama. Yeah, yeah. So, yes. Oh, yeah. Shannon is saying, don't cancel, Judy. I'm flying tomorrow. Just get there early and take your time. We have a neighbor, Judy. I will help you. I will find it. I'm going to write it down. We have a neighbor, and I think it's called Not Fear of Flying. Fear. Let me even say what it is. Hold on. Well, I can't look at it. There's a guy that has helped an online coach, has helped a neighbor of ours get over their fear of flying. Okay. So I will get that fear of flying. And the next time I'm doing a YouTube live or a TikTok live, tune in, which would be tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's already Wednesday, my God. And I'll post that, okay? So Judy, do not worry. And I probably have your email address. If I get it earlier, I'll send it to you, okay? What I offer to you is notice how your nervous system is making decisions for you. The fear would cause Judy to cancel her flight. The fear causes us to stop living our lives. No, no, let's not be those people, okay? And I'll be honest with you. I have gotten to the point too when I'm traveling, I say to myself, okay, if this flight went down, so Judy Dukes, this may help you. If this flight went down and I was going to die, what would I be like? Shit, I wish I would have done that before I died. So start to make your if I die in a plane crash um, list of things I want to do before I die and start doing them sooner rather than later. Now, I will admit to you, in that kind of list, decluttering may be low on the totem pole. But maybe it's also something like Leslie M is sorting photo albums. I wish I had shared the stories with the other generations. I wish I had made a will. I wish I had told all those people I loved them. I wish I had put my important papers where people can find them. Now, that is where decluttering can help. I have started to do that earlier this year, when everything was going to hell in a handbasket with the new president and the FAA and the crashes, I made a shared Google document. Heck, I could probably bring it up right now, that my sister now has access to. That's here's where the important stuff is in our house. Here's the name of the guy who did our wills. Here are the names of our neighbors that I'd like you to get in touch with in case we die. And here's the names of our friends around here that if you just even get in touch with one of these two people. Does this sound morbid? Hell yeah. But you know what? It gives me peace of mind that if I die, I'm not going to also give an undue burden on somebody else, that I have figured out some of this stuff. Yeah. Now, Lori, I flew into Albuquerque yesterday. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, so many tiles on the floor of that uh airport. If you have a rolly bag, it's gonna go tick 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 tick. Okay. So you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay. And if this prompts you to get some poop in your poop in a scoop, as somebody once said, beforehand, to make you give yourself some peace of mind, go for it. Do that. Write down those things. Make death be a motivator, because we're all going to die. You're going to die. Who was that? The guy at the screen door at the not the exorcist. No, hold on. Poltergeist, I think. You're going to die. Yeah. The weather was lovely. The weather was lovely. Yeah, it really was. It was dry. I think that's why I got a little bit of a cold. I'm used to the humidity, and it is so rainy this whole week in PA where I am. But it was really nice. So you'll have fun. You will have fun. You'll be right near Route 66. Go for it. So notice how we have thoughts in our head, rational thoughts, unrational thoughts, all the thoughts, just words in our heads that can cause our nervous systems to react, not respond, but react. Notice how sometimes those words in our heads are not even our words. They're the words of the people you see on the news, on the social media, friends. What is that thing about word of mouth? Like, we take so much more seriously the story that somebody we know tells versus 10,000 people we don't know. Now, sometimes that can be helpful, like when you're looking for a plumber. Other times, if somebody has a negative experience, you may not get something done. You know, so I offer this to you. Notice the connection between your head and your heart all over the place, not just with decluttering and not just with losing jobs and being afraid of traveling. When you learn the skill to say, stop it, let's calm it down, let's fade it out, let's make it small, that can really help. Okay. Okay. There we go. Judy Dukes. She's going to go. She's going to work on calming her nervous system. Yeah. There you go, Erin Collins. Erin is saying death is the motivator to clean my house. I don't want to be embarrassed post-mortem. That can be a motivator. Seriously. Yeah, and Judy, I don't know if you saw, Mary says even big flight delays aren't bad. If you fly to Europe and a certain number of hours have accumulated on a delay, you get a free flight voucher with some airlines. I kind of hope on one on the way back. 100%. Actually, my husband was kind of mad that we had very close connections between our flights because we didn't have an opportunity to go to like an airport lounge, and he likes that. So I said, okay, I promise next time we are flying, I will make a longer layover between our destinations, you know? But notice death of motivator. Gina Mead says, I don't want to die and leave behind the cluttered mess in my home. So you will die, but you can do something about the cluttered mess in your home. Everything I have saved will be trashed. I don't want my loved ones to have to go through that. Their memory of me will be very bad. Yes, unrational, like, yes, ungood. We can make up words, guys. How do you think words got invented? You know? So notice the motivator and start sooner rather than later. Start sooner rather than later. Yeah. And Kim says, I tell myself if my husband and I went down together, at least there would be no grieving for each other. Yeah, that's morbidly accurate. Yeah. So notice how your clutter plays into it. And here's the deal, too, with your clutter. Do you have items in your house that tell stories that you want those stories to live on? Are you the keeper of some of the stories? I am. I got in the closet back here. I am the keeper of a lot of the family archives. I have started to share those things, but I have recently put that on the back burner because I've been busy with other things. But if I knew I was going to die sooner rather than later, I would bump that to the top of the list. Excuse me, got a cough. So funny. I'm trying to get out of the frame and I just go to the side of the frame. So I offer to you, use any opportunity that comes your way to get some insight on what's important to you. What would I want to happen? How would I wouldn't want my grieving family to be digging out my stuff and saying, "Where's her birth certificate?" We have a neighbor next door. Okay. She unexpectedly passed away. She lived alone. She passed away right before Christmas. Her sister is now digging out the house trying to find if she had a will or not. This is a hoarder house that this family grew up in. It's not a pretty sight. Um, I don't wish that on my family, and I'm actively helping my mom now so I don't have to do that when she's dying. I am getting involved and letting my sister know, and then she said, "Oh, you shared that with me. Hey, here's where our stuff is." So use the opportunity to communicate, to tell people you love them, to share the items you have that you've been saving for them. Why are you waiting? Could you share it now? It doesn't have to be the item if they can't take it with them. It could just be the story of the item. What stories do you want to make sure live on in your family? I'll be honest with you. I got a few that I'm like, I want them to know. And they'd probably be like, oh, she met this famous guy from back in the day, but we don't even know who he is. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, I love this. Mary says, I want to declutter when it's nasty out so I can go gallivanting. Who doesn't like to gallivant, to promenade, promenade? Yeah, when it's nice out. Oh, I'm all about that. That's why I started right at the beginning of this year, January 1st, hopping on a YouTube live and a TikTok live saying, okay, let's get this done because I live in a four seasons place. And the seasons that I like the best are now until like September or October. Then it wanes down, you know? So, yeah, getting started sooner rather than later. In getting started, two things will help you: calming down your nervous system and chunking down what you think you're going to get done. Now, yeah, Lady Amanda is saying, I have a friend that is trying to find their mother's will. It's around, she hid it somewhere. Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah, Lori says my kids scream about dad stuff, then my husband screams about them taking his stuff. All right, so bunch of decluttering lessons need to be happened. Notice that decluttering can reduce the screaming in your house, you know? Now, that one persona, can you touch on what to do when I get stuck and don't know where to put things or what to do with certain items? Working on clearing out a half bath, blankets, extra toiletries, etc. Okay, so that one persona, what I want to what one of the things that's going to be under the umbrella of chunking it down is going to be specifics, categories. Okay, now you named a couple of them. Categories of stuff that's in the half bath closet. And then one size does not fit all. When you get into categories, then each category will probably have a slightly different home for stuff. Like you're not going to put your blanket in the same place that you put your excess you know toothpaste or something. So that one persona, let's deal with one of the specifics um you already mentioned, just as an example, blankets. Okay, so here's what I would think about with blankets. When I have a category of any one item, for example blankets, what I look for is the following: the two Q's: quality and quantity. Quantity and quality, it doesn't really matter. Actually, quantity, they're kind of related. They both, their last names both start with Q, so they sit with each other in homeroom. Okay, quality and quantity are hanging up clothes. So quality and quantity of blankets. This is the thing I would do too. I would also look at functionality. So for example, blankets. I would see how many I had. If I can easily kind of donate some of them, I will donate them. But I will say, why do I even have these many blankets? And I will not be judgy. Okay. Um, you have to have a conversation with yourself in order to get unstuck. So these are some questions you can ask. Now, when you get clear on the quantity and quality you want, and what do I mean by quantity? Okay, so us, for example, we have one bed in the house. It's ours. It has the blankets on it now. And we have certain blankets that we specifically have for the bed. Now, when it gets to be summer out, we will pack them away and we won't use them. Then we may have a blanket or two or like a sleeping bag for layers if people stay over that will, they'll sleep on the pull-out couch or the thing. The notice thing is not specific. The arrow bed. right? So I need a blanket in case how many people would ever stay over? Maybe a couple and their kid. Anything larger than that, they're probably going to stay at a hotel. So perhaps I need, in addition to the blankets on our bed, I need two more blankets, a couple more blankets. Okay. Yeah. And oh man, that one persona, I love being cozy and cuddling under a throw right here all the time, even in the middle of in the middle of summer. I love myself a lap blanket. I love that. But notice, how many do you need? How many do you want? Which ones are your favorites? Now, I have some that were inexpensive and they were colorful, and I got them at IKEA, and yet they're too light. I like a blanket with a little bit of heft, a little bit of weight sometimes. So notice that you may have your favorites. That is a category. You could have like it's going to be a spectrum. These are the ones I like the best, and these ones not so much to the med. This one is green and woolly and scratchy, and I don't even like it at all. So, how many do you need? Now, I keep a couple of like blankets to cuddle under for when my husband and I are watching TV or we're outside on the patio, but occasionally on the patio, occasionally we've had people over and we've been hanging out and it's chilly. So I saved a couple of those ones, but it's just the right amount. And depending upon when I use them. So notice what I want you to get to is a quantity of the quality that you like the best with anything. It could be blankets, it could be toiletries. When you have sorted through and said, these are the only ones I've decided to keep, the number of them works for me and the quality, how, that they do it for me. Then, as far as where they go, put the things that you use most often in the easiest reach. Your toothbrush should not be down the basement, and your winter coat should not be in the refrigerator, right? I know I'm being extreme when I say that, but if you're not using those blankets for the next 6 months, is there a place that's not very convenient for you to put them, but they don't need to be conveniently accessed? Now, again, I said IKEA, and I have some zip bags that I've put those things in. And actually, it's wicked funny. They're seriously right here. Because I was going to say they're down the basement. See that right there? That's an IKEA bag with like a what do you call it? I really try hard to keep my mind and keep the specific words. It's a foam topper for an aero bed or the pull-out couch. So those are things that the category is for when we have people staying over. And I even have a little piece of paper in there that says foam topper for this. Okay. Um, And then find a place. Find a place that doesn't get in your way every day. This may be the very top shelf. It may be the very bottom shelf, not the sweet spot, like when we used to shelve things at Pier 1. The bigger, heavy, the visually bigger and lighter weight items would go up the top, and the visually heavier and the physically heavier will go down the bottom because you don't want anything bopping your head. Does that help? I hope it does. I hope it does. But notice how much we were talking just about blankets, but the same process is extra toiletries. Okay, the quantity, the quality. Why do I have extra toiletries? Now, I've been traveling lately, so occasionally I have been known to bring home the lotions and potions from a hotel room, or we've traveled internationally and they give you like a little amenities kit. Do I want to hide that away and use it when I'm traveling, or do I want to use it in an everyday type of thing? So it's going to be a similar thing, but notice that specificity and chunking it down to even just one category might help you get unstuck. And not knowing, if you tell yourself you don't know, you won't go look. But you say, I'm sure I can figure this out. I'm sure I can figure this out. And when you start to say, I can figure this out, your brain's like, okay, let's figure. Let's do this. But when you tell yourself you can't, you won't even try. I'm stuck. All right, we'll get unstuck. I don't know where to put things. Well, maybe not all of it, but I bet you can find a home for some of it. So let's chunk it down. Let's find the chunks that you do know where to put down, and then let's see what's left over. When you practice problem solving, aka where to put this thing that I've decided to keep, kind of like Heather MC, you may be delighted with space that you have found. Okay? So don't let your overwhelm and your fear and your I don't know stop you, because it will. If you let it, it will. Your backseat driver can have you slamming on the brakes like nobody's business, almost canceling a flight, you know? Um, there's another side to the story. I can't do this. I can do this. It's just a blanket. I'm sure I can find space for it. Categories, chunking it down, talking to yourself from love and figuring it out and possibility and flexibility. That is the fuel for a wonderful fire versus being all, I can't do it. You can, Blanche, you can. Okay. So I hope that helped. I hope that helped. You know, thank you. Considering moving where I store the blankets from the half bath closet to the coat closet in the living room. Yeah, great. And here's a lot of what we do. We will experiment. We will experiment. Now, here's going to be the interesting thing for me. I'll share you that one persona. These bags of like guest bedding, I guess the heading would be the heading of the bedding. Um, I dismantled I had some of those, those things you can assemble that are like a portable closet. It's like really hinky, like white tubes, and then you do this, and it's got the plastic thing and it with the zipper on it and stuff like that. We've had them for 20 years, and some of them were in really crappy shape, and we just kind of dismantled them and frankly threw them away when we were doing the stuff down the basement. So I'll be honest with you, that one persona, give me a couple of weeks and I too will be saying, okay, where do I put this stuff? Because where it was before doesn't exist. So you know what you and I are going to do? We're going to play. We're going to experiment. We're going to see if it works. And if it works, we leave it there and we know where it is. And if it doesn't work out, we get curious about what doesn't work out and we change that. And then we just keep on experimenting and till we find a place that works. Experimentation, trial and error. You only get to the good stuff by figuring it out like that. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I had a friend helping me and she made a comment about certain storage areas being prime real estate. Made me think, what would be the easiest access place? Yes. And ease of access should equal frequency of use too, or there should be a correlation between those two. Can you imagine if you had your dinner dishes, like the dishes that you use every day, like up on a very high top shelf, and then the easy to reach shelves had like your crystal and your like turkey platter on it that you only used twice a year. So think about prime real estate is the stuff where you want to make it easy. This is where when we talk about your destination having three sides to it, how does it look? How does it function? And how do you feel? Right? Little triangle, tra la la triangle is how does it function? Easily. I can easily grab what I need, easily use it, and easily put it away. And if it's something you grab for all the time, keep it in the easily grabbable places. Yeah. If you only use it on the rare times that people stay over, it doesn't have to be as easily used, but putting it in a place in the flip side that's maybe very inconvenient. So you're leaving the good stuff, the good real estate for the things that you use often. Like I think about it now, we haven't used these things. I want to say I'd have to look at our calendar since like Christmas. That was over 5 months ago, people, just so you know. January, February, March, April, May. Okay, almost 5 months ago. Yeah. Oh, see? Yes, yes, that one persona. You know what I'm hearing from you? And this is great because she's saying also accepting that just because it's always been like that doesn't mean it has to stay that way. Oh my God, that everybody embroider that on a freaking pillow. Just because it has always been like that doesn't mean it has to stay that way. Now, if it's been that way because it works and it's easy and it doesn't bug you, keep it that way. Do not change just for change sake. But if something isn't working for you, you are allowed to change things. This is what we're here for, Charlie Brown, is we're here to change what isn't working for you and to remind you of your ability and the power you have to change something even if it's been around for forever. That's what we call progress. That is what we call evolution. You know? Yeah. Yeah, experiment, play, see what works, and don't stop until it feels like it works for you. If there's something bugging you, that means there's something out of alignment. So clue into what that bugging part was. Yes. And as you said, even in our own homes where we've always had things, yeah, just because it's always been there and you're the one who put it there X many years ago, you are a different person now. You're learning different things. You're learning to see things from a new perspective. You're learning different skills and you're reminding yourself you've got the power. If it makes it easier, why not change? Yeah, not just change for change's sake, but change to feel better, easier, simpler, faster for you to grab what you need. If you were running out of your house, again, we'll go back to that whole, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. How easily could you grab your important papers? How could you grab your stuff if your house was on fire? Do you know where your important things are? Are they centrally located? Are they easy to reach or have you hid them on yourself? Now, I'm guilty of a lot of these things. I have hid things on myself and forgotten where they were. I had our wills in one place and some of our family heirlooms in another. I have since combined that stuff in the area and kept it that way and told my sister, which reminds me, I have to get my passport out. You know? Yeah. I love it. The one persona says that's a Bethism that I've learned. Yeah. Yeah. Why not change? If it makes your life easier, better, and it doesn't harm anybody else or the environment, seriously. I mean, there's convenience that also has a cost, but trying to figure out a better place for your blankets, I don't think we're quite there yet. Okay. So you can do this. Even if one of the things you haven't changed from years past is the habit of saying, I don't know. You do know. And if you don't exactly know, just start and try something and you'll learn from it. You'll be like, well, that didn't work. That didn't work. Well, what didn't work about it? What didn't you like about that hotel room? Well, if I was comparing these two hotel rooms, you know what I really liked? I liked the one where I walked in and it was giant and it had like a rain shower thing and I could walk in. I liked that kind of shower in that hotel room more so than the one that was a tub with um like a shower curtain. Yeah. You can change the habit of I don't know. Notice how often your brain is in a rut that your default is I don't know. Now, sometimes you don't know and sometimes you don't care. So I don't know shouldn't necessarily be banished because maybe you're sick of making decisions. Decision fatigue can be a real thing. So you might want to get some other people involved if you care to. But I say start to learn how to make decisions yourself and then share that process, share that skill, teach that skill to the people in your life. So you can do it. And this is the great thing. All of us right here, we're not here to fix rockets, right? We are here to do stuff with the stuff in our house. And sooner rather than later. Because I would much rather get all this stuff straightened out. I'm talking to one of my one-on-one clients right now about that. She got her 401k like rolled over to another place. That seemed like a big deal and now it's um in the back, rear view mirror. She was getting her mom's medical paperwork all together and now she's sorting it out. And then she's like, "Well, yeah, now I got to find my mom's like will and do something about the cemetery." And I said, "Well, what about yourself?" "Well, I got to do that too." "Okay, we'll start sooner rather than later." And she literally just took a piece of paper, jotted down. Yeah, Beth, dropping truth bombs and sipping tea with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Laid back with my teacup in my hand, right? There we go. Ellen, lots of Bethisms. I love that. Write these down because they can be Ellenisms. They can be that one persona isms. Like, seriously, I do not trademark any of this stuff. If it helps you, add it to your lexicon. Start saying these things to yourself. It's kind of actually, what was her name? Let me see if I can. I almost said, let me see if I can figure it out. Marie Forleo, life coach person. Everything is figure outable. How much more handy, how much better does it feel when you say to yourself, I can figure this out? I can figure this out. And if it takes me too long, I can ask for help. I can ask an expert. If I'm getting frustrated, I can find somebody who knows more than I do about how to apply for a visa to go from Dublin to Belfast, you know? But write these things down, please, people. This is why I share them because they've helped me. So it's the more people I help, the better the world is. The more you hear what resonates with you, and it feels better when you hear these words, and then you go and you kick ass in the world. But you start small in your house because once you crack the nut, once you're like, oh, I get it, because how I declutter this room is the same way I declutter that room and that one. And you're like, oh, there's a process here. I never realized it's kind of the same thing over and over again. That makes it so much easier. I can use the same approach. It doesn't mean I need to reinvent the wheel. It's chunking down, slowing down, writing down, all that stuff. So put this stuff to good use. Use these tools. Make your life better. The world needs more better people. When we are all freaked out by our nervous systems, other people can take control. So notice, I'm just looking at the time. My God, this has flown by. It's like 11:54. Notice when your nervous system is all riled up that other people can more easily control you. Don't be that person. Push back. Be like, "Oh yeah, you don't scare me. I'm calm. I'm cool. I'm collected." And if my nervous system goes out of whack, I know how to bring it in whack. And again, we start small. We're not talking about, overthrowing the government. We're not talking about that big stuff now, but it's the same concept. We're just talking about what do I do with these extra toiletries? Now, when you compare these things, the process is the same. So practice on the small, safe stuff. How many bars, like literally my husband's um what do you call it? Toiletry bag. I saw it in the bathroom and it was like he is carrying around a bar of soap from some hotel. Every single hotel we go to now has a bar of soap or better yet, the little, kind in the pump, but he's become oblivious to it. So I am going to suggest to him before we travel internationally next week to dump out his toiletry bag, to remind himself of what he has, that when's the last time I actually needed this? Because they are a lot more strict too on the liquids and stuff like that. We can get kind of lazy about stuff when you're driving someplace. You can, put a lot of stuff in the car, but if you're traveling internationally and you don't want to check a bag, you got to be more aware of the size of your bag, the weight of your bag, and the size of the plastic bag that holds your liquids. Now, here's the funny thing with me. I have stopped bringing shampoo on a thing of shampoo with me because every time we stay in a hotel, there's already shampoo. So I feel safe in not having little things of shampoo with me because I am more confident that where we're staying will have the shampoo. So it's the same thought process. What is this stuff? Being aware of what you have in a certain category. Asking yourself, when's the last time I used this? Well, this bar of soap is still in its plastic, so I haven't even used it. The next time I go traveling, do I think I'm going to be staying at a place that has a bar of soap in it? Yeah. So do I need to bring this bar of soap with me? Probably not. Okay, maybe that can stay home. Maybe the next time I go traveling, I don't bring the bar of soap home with me because I'll save it there for somebody else, you know? So it's the same process. It really is. I'm happy to talk about it and put it in different ways and dress it up in a bonnet and put some platform shoes on it and put it in the past and throw it into the future. It's the same process. Noticing what you have around you, deciding what you want of what you have, and then looking and saying, is there anything else that really, what do I want? And I think at the end of the day, I mean, we started talking about death. Well, destination, how about just destination happy life? Destination for me, that would include, I got it written down right here, flexibility, peace of mind. I am telling you, that is something that as I age, I notice a calm, quiet mind. I was booking travel plans when I was on this last trip with my friends for a trip in October. And my friend said, well, it looks like it's slightly cheaper to book through booking.com than it is the airline. And I said, well, you can do what you like, but I have learned that I get peace of mind when I book directly with the airline, because even if it costs a little bit more, if anything should happen to my flights, it is so much easier to get things changed when you have booked directly through the airline. And so that little bit of money, that little bit of difference between the booking.com and me, that's the price I'm paying. And it's a pittance for feeling like I don't have to worry if something happens. Okay. Flexibility, peace of mind, delights, unexpected delights, leisure, love, connection, love connection, Chuck Woolery, right? Having company, making company with Erin while she cleans the kitchen. Community, not feeling alone, connection, appreciation, like all those things. That's why we're doing this. For destination, a life you feel good living, and a life you look forward to, a life you feel good living now, and a life when you look back and you look at yourself with kindness, not judgment. And if you're being judgy, learn from what went wrong in the past and know that you can change it, even though maybe up until now you've still done the same old thing. Okay. Destination love, destination fear. You can choose which one. Now I'm going to do destination, what is it, Tuesday afternoon. I was going to go to the dentist, but I still feel like I have some uh, germs in me, so I didn't want to be breathing on somebody. But I've got some good stuff done. It's only noontime. It just turned noon, 12 o'clock Eastern for people. Destination lunch. Okay, Ellen. Now I just had destination breakfast, but you know what I have? I've got destination um, habit tracker, fill in more of these things that I did yesterday because I totally crapped out yesterday. So I have destination to do a little bit more of these things so I feel good. Because when you feel good, you do good. Okay. Now I hope this helped. The neat thing is that if there's anything that I said that resonated with you and you want to write it down, this will be recorded. I think it's being recorded right now, and it will be on the YouTube channel. I've already uploaded the TikTok live that we did this morning. It's up there too on the May playlist. Tomorrow, we've got a TikTok live and a YouTube live, and I know what time they are. Do you? If you don't, do you know where to look for it? Yeah. Okay. Going to look for the time if you want to show up, putting some skin in the game, not just waiting for somebody to do it for you, but saying, I know where to find that out. Okay. Lady Bandit, my best to you and your husband. LO. Always learning something. Glad to help. I'm learning stuff too. Trust me, I am still out there looking for things that resonate with me and looking for better ways to explain the things that have helped me to you. So I'm glad this works for you. Spread the word. Okay. Spread the word. Okay. Now I am going to zoop here. Do I do this? Here, hold on. Okay. I will see you tomorrow. Okay. Have an awesome day, everybody.